Welcome back to Fergie's Fab Shop. My name is Derek. Thank you for tuning in. In the last episode, I left you off. We were trying to put the new spindle and the new hub on, and we found out that the spindle I ordered had the wrong shaft length on it. So it's another week later. I have ordered the correct spindle. It just came in the mail yesterday. Life was pretty busy, so I wasn't able to get out here and put it on yet, but I thought I'd bring you guys out and we'll take a look at it for the first time together. Once again, we are working on the Oliver 1365, and we're going to try to get this back up and going. Before I turned the camera on, I was charging the battery, and I got kind of excited and wanted to see if it would fire up again, and sure enough, it fired right up. So I got the nice sweet smell of diesel exhaust in the shop here, which some people may not like, but I happen to like it a lot. So we are going to start over here. Hopefully you guys can see this just fine. Okay, so this is the new spindle that we have. Remember that the spindle shaft length was 10 and 3/4 is what we need. That's the correct one, or about 275 millimeters. The one that we had was only I got it right here. It's only 233 millimeters, so you can kind of see how that's just not going to work. So hopefully we can get this one going. In the last episode, we had put the new bushing in here, and we'd got the thrust washer out of here. So we will go and clean up this surface a little bit better. I've got some parts cleaner, clean out the inside of the shaft, and then we'll get this put back in there and get it greased up real good, and then we'll put the steering arm back on, and we should be able to go from there without leaving some residue on there. So I might have to actually go and clean this up. I don't know. All right, it took me a hot second, but I think I got it. I had to use a razor blade and then hit it up with some Scotch-Brite, and I was able to get it off. So we will find the thrust washer here. So it's got a fancy grease pattern in there to hold the grease in. Pretty standard though. I might hit it with some parts washer here real quick. Let me go do that, and then I'll come back. Okay, I think I got this cleaned up here. Need to find my grease gun. I think I got it hanging over there because it kind of leaks a little bit. Okay, so if I see the way that this goes, I don't think it matters if those holes line up or not, because it'll just get grease in there anyways. But it should just be this side down there, and then this side up. That should slide right over. Oh, I get it. It falls on that little pin. You'd think I'd learn this stuff by now. Alright, I guess that's how it goes. Slide it on up in there. So something, maybe it crushed it, maybe the tolerance of this tube and this is too much. Here, last time I left you off, is we were installing the bushings into the new spindle shaft there. Well, I thought I had the camera recording. It wasn't, so we didn't capture me actually getting those put in there, but it is in there and it does spin. I put the steering arm back on, so I can't get it to turn by hand anymore. I got a new seal put on the spindle itself, so that will be good for there. Surfaces are all good and clean, and I did have to get a new spindle nut. I'm not completely sold on this one yet. This is all the hardware store had. It has a crimp edge on there to make it lock, I guess, in place. I'm not, as I said, not excited about it, but it is what it is. So, going back over to our hub itself, don't worry about the messiness of the table. Someday that will actually get cleaned up. The first thing I'm going to do here, and I saw another guy on YouTube do it, so I'm going to do it as well. It's just a good idea. Is I don't know if you can kind of see in there, there's a big cavity in there for grease and everything, and it's going to be hard to kind of pack that with grease when I'm putting this on. So one of the easiest way to do it, or an easier way to do it I should say, is to actually just drill a hole in here and then put your grease zerk on there. So I have some grease, I bought some of these grease fittings. I didn't realize that they're the push-on type of grease fittings. I've never used these before. I've only used the kind that you actually screw in. So you drill a hole, tap it, screw it in. So I've never seen these before. I guess they're probably simpler. I don't know if that's going to actually focus on there, but it has what looks like threads, but they're more like barbs that go in there. So I don't know exactly how you do that. I'm going to go and measure the kind of inner diameter in between those barbs, I guess, and figure out what that diameter is versus what the outer diameter of the outer part of the barb is, and then find a drill size that kind of, is in between, kind of a happy medium. What we're going to do is we'll get something shoved in there so I can carry those. We'll pull it out this way so it's not going to be against that bearing. And then when we're done, we'll make sure I'll bring an air gun and actually blow shavings out this way, and so hopefully it'll keep it away from this. I guess okay, so I got you set up here. I think I was looking at the decimal equivalent chart here for this. I went and I took a measurement of the diameter of the grease zerk, and inside the grooves it's at 0.315, and outside the grooves it's at 0.318. So that gives us about 0.03 of what those grooves are. So I'll probably hit it somewhere around 0.31. Where are we at here? 0.315, 0.316. So it's either going to be, I might try a 5/16, or I may come down here and hit a letter O. We'll see. So it's between a 5/16 and an O. I don't have any metric. I don't have an 8mm, so I'll see if I can find me a 5/16 bit, which I do have, and then we'll go from there. And I'm just going to do this by hand. I'm not actually going to chuck it up in the drill or anything, or in the mill to do it that way. So let's go see if we can find one. Okay, we'll see if we can get this done before I run out of battery. I've got about 20% left. I'm gonna hit it right about there. I've got a 5/32 bit here. You know what? Alright, so we got a pilot hole drilled there with our 5/32. Now we'll go back in with our 5/16. Okay, now we're going to see if we can get the shavings out of there without getting them by the bearing. We can use an old rag, I think. I'll find my blowgun and we'll blow some of that out. Okay, well, we got that blown out, so that's all good. So I think we can put that in there. Fit. Let's see. Fine. Some Loctite put on there. So let's see if we can get this in here now. Found some Loctite. Happy, but what I did is I put some Loctite around that, and then I just used a 9/32. It looks like fit in there just right over the top. Put it over there and tapped her home. So now we have a grease zerk installed. It feels like it's in there pretty solid. It's not going to fall out. So we will take this out of here, and I don't know if I have to install this bearing next. I probably do, so we might have to go take that over to the press. The problem is,
so the camera died, but we pressed on anyways. We were able to get that hub put on there and get our new spindle put in there. I think you saw some of that. Put our cap back on our hub. Got everything greased up, looking real good. The problem we have now is I'm assuming that wherever this spindle shaft came out of, they didn't clock this you know, the square pattern on this shaft. I don't know how to better say that. They didn't clock it exactly like it did coming out of the factory, or maybe they don't clock them precisely. Maybe that's not something on the print or something. Either way, what happens is now I went and got this wheel turned, trying to move this already, so you know it's not going to make as much sense, but this wheel was kind of bent way out like this. I need to adjust the toe on my tie rod. Now I'm assuming that this toe probably hasn't been changed in quite some time, so it, you know, it's all rusted and gross in there, and it's not going to work. I hit it with a lot of PB blaster, trying to get it to move, and it won't. I think I have a solution. There's probably a lot of people who are going to say I'm doing it wrong, but that's all right. What I did try first is, before we get into that, I went and put a lot of PB blaster in there. I've tried moving it around. I've tried heat. I've tried using a pipe wrench here to kind of bust it free. That's not working. And this shaft itself, the tie rod shaft that goes into the outer shaft there, it's 15 3/4 inches long. which I measured it, and it should put the end of the shaft somewhere over here. So that's a lot of shaft length in here, and I'm guessing it's just gotten pounded by rain and other condensation over the years, and you know, it's just stuck in there, and it's not going to come back out. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to take this whole shaft unit out, and you can see that there, maybe you can, it's kind of hard to see with the lighting, but you can see that there's a cut in here, and what that is, you know, and then you put this collar over there, and that collar is kind of tight, so I can't slide back over, but you put the collar in there, and then you put your bolt back in, and that pinches it together, and it keeps it in there. And then you've got a couple different positions you can go. Looks like this one, they weren't fully in the position, but I don't think you 100% need to be. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to go put this in my vise, and I'm going to get a cutoff wheel, and we're just going to continue this cut back as far as we can go, and until this comes popping out. And then we're going to get everything good and cleaned up, and I'll probably just come back in here with my welder and hit this and kind of close it up. If by chance it does, you know, not usable anymore, like I said, these aren't the most expensive pieces in the world, but they're expensive enough where, you know, if I don't have to buy it, I won't. So let's go. Okay, so let's go and start this. I put you at a little bit different angle. Hopefully you can be able to see that. I took the nut off here so I can kind of tell what I'm working with on the other side. Hopefully it's the same nut. I did kind of feel around in there, and I don't feel a cotter pin in there kind of holding things together, which concerns me, but at the same time makes me kind of happy, because then I don't have to worry about that. So we'll situate ourselves here a little bit. I guess we'll get the creeper, but that takes time. Let's see. Got my trusty shop dog with me today. The other option is I can try to pick this all up, and possibly that the steering yoke would come out far enough where I can get a socket in on it and change it better. So let's try to do that. Okay, so let's try to get this, and keeping that here. So let's see if we can get this lifted up enough where get both tires up and down, and then hopefully that steering yoke we can move it out enough where we can actually get to it. This is make it easier so that I can actually turn the wheels without having to fight it with a big steel bar the whole time. And hopefully you can hear me all right on the camera. I got my furnace going in the background. It's a wee bit cold outside lately, so living in southern Indiana, and I'm originally from Wisconsin, and I should be used to this weather, but I'm not. So, you know, I've kind of, in the 20 years that I've lived in Indiana, I have become desensitized to the cold, I guess. All right, well that helps a little bit. At least get my wrench on there a little bit easier. Hopefully you guys can see this on camera all right. If not, I apologize. I'll try to zoom in if I can. All right, I don't know if I'd be able to get a might be able to get an extension in the socket. Maybe. I'll just loosen it up. Get in there. Fingers. Nope. Alright. Let's try to get a socket. I got something sitting around maybe. There we go. Going the right way. That out of the way there. I suppose the other problem is going to be getting the other problem is going to be getting the ball end off of here that does have a tapered slot. I think I can get might be able to get something in there to hit it, but I think I got some pickle forks somewhere that would probably be able to take that off. Okay, I got my cheap Hobo Freight set of forks. Let's see, I don't think it'll be that size. Just this one. Well, I'd fit in there. So let's try the small size, and then we'll go with our hammer punch. So I don't have my impact hammer out here right now. Work. Step side up, down, up, and find the hammer. Get this. Impact. Of course, my air hose all the way over there. Take my custom made punch out of there. Use this to get I think it was a broken exhaust bolt off of my wife's car at one point. That was a chore. Under the seat, maybe we find it later. I need to teach my dog to go get tools. I think I got the right. She's ready to rock and roll. Tell that much. All right, let's give it a try here. Okay. That's not gonna work. Okay, I got you brought over to the vise now. I'm going to use a good old power cutoff wheel here. Okay, so we're gonna plug this guy in. I guess don't need to run extension. I got a thing right here. I'm gonna find got a pair of safety glasses over here, and then I'm gonna use the shield as well. Now, a lot of people say I should probably have a guard on here, but I mean, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. All right, it might be hard to hear me under here, and we only have
Okay, let's see. I think we're getting pretty close. I know it's hard to see probably on camera there, but we're getting pretty close down in there. I can see where the divots are for the bolts, so we're through that part, and we might actually just be down in there. Maybe that's why it's shining. So let's see if we can get in there. Let's see, I probably need a chisel and a hammer. Let's see if I can use my girly arm to get that. Any more. I'm gonna see if I can get a hammer and try to separate that out a little bit. So now that we have this cut open, let's see what we can do here. And again, I know I've mentioned before, I'm very sorry about all the mess. It's just, it is the chaos, which is my life. I know I should try to fix it at some point, but one of these days, maybe I will clean it. Now that we got this open, I might try to hit it with a little bit of heat and see if I can get this to expand a little bit. Alright, the tricky part about using heat is trying to constantly remind yourself that this is going to be a hot surface. Down there is cool enough. Let's see if we can get a bite on it. I think it's moving because I think I saw my line shift slightly. Yeah, she's moving in there a little bit. That's a good sign. There we go. We got her moving. Now, if we can get her to move all the way out. That's the other piece there. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it is moving. It is moving. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, we did score down in there quite a bit. I guess we went down a little bit deeper than we thought we were going to go, but I think that'll be okay. So as you can see, you know, we still had half the rod in there to go, and that was just all covered in that. So I'm probably going to go and hit that with a bunch of PB Blaster and try to get as much of that junk out of there. But I'll probably end up taking this over to the wire wheel and cleaning that part up anyways, and then we'll go in there. And then once we're done with cleaning this up to the point where we're satisfied, then we can bust out the welding table, which, you know, flat surface, so filled with lots of stuff. We'll clean that off and we'll get the welder out and try to close this up a little bit. We'll try to clean that up, get that in there, and then we'll go from there. Alright, I need to get more of these shop towels. Oh, and that gets hot. I forget. See? I forget that it's hot. And that's my problem. Alright. Nothing like having a hot, penetrating oil get on your skin. I guess that's what they used in the old days for medieval torture, didn't they? They just boiled some oil and threw it on the people running the battering ram. Okay, welcome back. A lot has happened since we were last here. And what I did is I went and cleaned up both of these. I hit it real good at the wire wheel because you want good, bright, shiny metal when you're going to actually weld something. If you have it dirty like this, your weld is, you know, it's just going to sit on top of the surface. It's not actually going to really get down there and penetrate, and you know, it's going to be a poor quality weld, is what I'm trying to say. And then another thing I did is I went and aligned my wheels so that they're even with each other, and I did that with a tape measure. And you know, this isn't a precision race car or even a passenger car, so you don't have to worry about being exact. So what I did is you just take a tape measure, went to the outside of each of the center ribs, measure, and it came out to be about 71.5 inches on both the front and the back. So you know, they should be pretty parallel with each other. Once I did that, I went and I fit this, you know, in there, found the exact position that's going to be in there. And the reason I wanted to do that is, you know, once we do weld this crack up, if, you know, for whatever reason, you know, that kind of gets this so it's stuck or it's warped or whatever, and it's not going to let us, you know, adjust it, I wanted to at least have it in the position that I need it for now. So let's go ahead and get the welder out, and then we'll get this put on here. I didn't clean the whole thing up, so I'm not going to ground the whole table. I'm just going to put my ground probe up here, or my ground clamp up here, and then just kind of stitch weld it in. I came in here and put my ground clamp on. I got my welder and my gas turned on. I've got I had the auto setting set up for 3/16 steel on here. I did turn my wire feed down just a little bit to about 340, and then I turned my voltage down from 9.5 down to about 9.3. I usually start out a little bit on the colder side rather than on the warmer side. That way you don't blow holes and cause some issues. But we also don't want to put too much heat in here, so you know, we'll give that a shot and see what happens, and you can always adjust as needed. Remember, when you're welding, you want it to sound like frying bacon, right? That's kind of the you know, a good rule of thumb. That way, you know, you're kind of getting in there and you know, penetrating, and you got all your settings correct. So let's go ahead and do this. Again, I'm not going to do a big stitch weld through here. I'm going to kind of move it around. So I'm going to kind of hit it here on this side, then I'm going to come up here, I'll hit it on this side, probably let it cool down a little bit, then I'll come in here, hit it here, and then just kind of keep doing that. So let's go. Let's cross our fingers that the auto darkening will work correctly, otherwise I will get some tasty welders flash in my eyes. Test my gas, make sure it's there. Okay, one thing I'm noticing right away is the auto darkening is not working the best it should. That did nothing, and now I can't see anything. Okay, well, the good news is it had extra batteries sitting around, so Alright, well, definitely not the prettiest thing I've ever done. But you know what? I think once we hit that with a little bit of the wire wheel, what I am going to do here is loosen this bolt up here now. And see if by some miracle this thing will still move in and out. Alright, that's loosened up. So let's see what happens here. And just as I thought, it won't move. So it's a good thing that we did put that there. Put it right on the mark where it needs to be. You know, it'll work for what we need it to work for. And we'll go from there. So I'm gonna clean up my welding stuff, and then when I bring you back, we'll be back over on the tractor and we'll get this installed. Okay, we're back. We're gonna see if we can get this tie rod put in here. I hit it with a wire brush a little bit and kind of cleaned it up. Once we get the, we're gonna get some Oliver Green Razzle Dazzle in a can and put that over there, and you won't even notice how bad that weld is. So don't worry about it. Let's see. I think we're gonna go turn that other wheel and get the that steering yoke back out. While I was out having lunch, one of the things I did do is I did research new boots for this. So I think I'm going to order two sets of them, and then I think I got the right. Maybe I'll take a picture and some measurements again. There's like 4 different options you can get in here. Try to get this put back together. I can't remember if there was a washer that went on there. I thought I had fixed something up at one point that had fallen down, maybe not. Let's see, I thought there was one. Okay, I thought so. There's a washer that goes on there, so got this old Castle nut, which has definitely seen some better days. I don't know if you can see that, but looks like at some point somebody mashed that pretty good. So that's on there like that. Let's get this back in on mode. Let's see if we can use it like this. If not, we may have to get an extension with a knuckle so we can use the impact, but I think we can do it this way. This one, to save a little time, I'm just going to put on the impact. It's not always advisable to just throw it on an impact, and it's not, I'll do it anyways. Look at that, the whole line's up. Well, let's set this thing down, see how it looks. And that doesn't look too bad. I think we guessed right. Let's go over here. Yeah, it's towed out a little bit, but I think let's try something here. it that way, take a look at it. And I mean, that looks pretty good, if you ask me. I think we hit it just right. And from rib to rib, we're about 71.5 inches where we were to begin with, so I think we're good. All right, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this video. We got this installed, got the hub installed, got the spindle installed. We're gonna do a little extra work on getting that steering joint, or that steering shaft put together, but once we did, I think we're good to go. So the next step in this journey for this tractor is going to be to split it. So we have one step kind of before that, and that's going to be to drain all the fluids. And I think I want to take the loader frame off of the tractor. That'll just make it a little bit easier to move it around, and then we don't have to line up both the engine and the loader frame when we try to put it back together. So we are going to get the loader frame off there. We're going to drain all of our fluids, so hydraulic fluid, transmission fluid, and oil. We'll probably get the diesel out of the tank as well, because we do need to go back in there and get that steering shaft out at some point. And to do that, we have to lift that the fuel tank out of there anyways. So we'll get that out. It's going to take a while to drain all those fluids. I don't know the last time the fluids have been out of this, so I don't even know the condition of them. It could be pretty nasty stuff in there. It needed to get changed anyways. So we're going to do it. Till next time, thank you for watching this video on Fergie's Fab Shop. My name is Derek, and I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you the next time. Take care.
I've got my eye on the highway. I've got my boat set to sail. I've got my feet in the water and it's cold. I've got my hammer on the nail. When I was a boy in New York City, I thought I'd ride the world with my thumb. The drinks would be cold, the girls pretty. I'd play a tune that everyone could hum. From debutantes to laborers,